When we surveyed the printing industry in the middle of last year, so we were trying to really get a sense of what the big issues that people face were in the industry, and there's half a dozen things that came out. One of the big things that consistently came out was, how do you sell more to your existing accounts when they're spending less on the things you do? So what we discover every time is 20% of the customers are contributing 80% of the revenue. We also discovered this rule, which I was also talking about this morning, which we call the 5-50 and the 55 rule. The top 5% of that customers are spending half of your company's revenue with you. So a tiny portion of the customers in your database are giving you half of your money. So that's the 5 to the 50. The scary part is this piece down here. So 50% of your database are spending 5% of the revenue and profitability in your company. So a tiny, tiny portion of your clients are giving you half of your money. Now, the problem is these people take up a disproportionate amount of time. So they're taking up a heck of a lot more than 5% of your resources in your company, but they're only contributing 5% of the revenue. And what we're going to do in your database is we're going to segment your customers into 3 different groups: platinum groups, gold group, and a silver group. And I'm going to explain who goes into what group and then what you do with them. So the platinum client is essentially your ideal client. So it's that, if I could get more like this, life would be great. The gold customers are that next group down to about 50% of the revenue spend. So which you might be something between about maybe 15 to 20 to 35% of your customers, so it would be that group. Now, one of the things that's very important when you tag these customers as gold is you have to look at them and say, who in here could be a platinum customer if I could tap into the rest of the potential of the account? And then the silver are that, you remember when we looked at that bottom 50% on the chart that's giving you 5% of the revenue? They're the silver ones. Now, it's possible, you don't find a lot of them, but it's possible you will find some up there that could be what I call promoted up. So there is potential to get them into gold or get them into platinum. But usually you find the best untapped opportunities in the gold group. Now, what we do in print is we take these most valuable customers and we give them what I call velvet rope treatment. So they get a fast pass to everything in your business. So if you've got an estimating system, you tag these customers as platinum customers and they get a fast pass. So if the average turnaround time for a normal estimate is 4 hours, the MVCs get it in an hour. We're going to focus just on growing that top 20% by 20%. Okay? We're going to ignore that bottom 80% of the customers. We're just going to grow the top 20%. So if we grow that by 20%, 20% of 800,000 is 160,000. You add the 160,000 onto your million, you're now at 1.16 million. I want everybody to make a list of everything you sell. Okay? List of everything you sell. And what I mean by that is something that you can put on an invoice and charge money for it. Customer A buys product 1 and they buy it from us. That's good. So that gets a check. Customer A does not buy product 2 at all. So they don't buy any exhibition equipment stuff from anybody. So that gets an X. And bucket 3 is forms, let's say. And they go, yeah, they do buy that. They just don't buy it from us. That gets an O. The O is for opportunity. And then you have to work out, how do I now go create a conversation with the customer about that product group? So who do I talk to? What's the engagement process? What do we need to say to them to say, can we have an opportunity doing that with your company? Now, this next piece I'm going to talk about is very, very important. And here's why it's important. Let's say you're thinking, I'm just going to give you a quick example of this. Let's say you're thinking of getting into web to print. The way most people think about this is they'll go, let's investigate the technology, decide what capabilities we need, decide on a short list, buy the technology, tell the sales force we've just bought web to print, go sell some stuff. That's the way we do it. That's the way, if I get a room of 100 people, 80 to 90% of them do it like that. Here's what we do instead, is we say, we are thinking of getting into web to print. Who in our customer database could use the capabilities that web to print offers? And let's go have a conversation with them and find out if we were going to do that with them, what type of things might they like to have? So what capabilities would they like to have? And if we invested in it, is it likely they might spend some money with us? So we start with the customer first and then decide on the technology. Most people start with the technology first and then go approach the customer. So we want to do it the other way around.